You are now tuned in to the number one wraparound show covering the number one Spring Football League, the United Football League, brought to you by the number one Spring Football Media Conglomerate, the United Football Media. We are the DAR Sports Crew, and we are pumped to be back here another week with you. This week, a little XFL conference preview. This was, all of our home conference. We're big XFL guys, going all the way back for me and True, going all the way back to the original XFL. Those Memphis Maniacs, those Birmingham Bolts, those New York, New Jersey Hitmen, the Chicago Enforcers, Orlando Rage, San Francisco Demons. There we go. We got to get some of those teams. We were talking expansion talk some weeks ago. We got to get some of that back. Some San Francisco Demons, some Sacramento Surge, some Oakland Invaders on the USFL side. Before we get into the preview, though, a little bit of news this week. It seemed like news. I didn't really perceive it as being huge news because I just my perception of what was going on. But we will, we're not going to have a wraparound show and not address it. There was a little bit of a kerfuffle, a little bit of sparks earlier on this week, as it seemed as if there might be a labor dispute of some sort, a strike. A lot of the quarterbacks signed, paperwork saying that they need to be paid better and et cetera, et cetera. And I want to be clear, and that's why we're not going to go too much into this because I don't want to, for no reason, take a chance on offending either side of this conversation. We always support and agree. We would like it, players to get paid more doing this because, the more players get paid, the more attractive it becomes, the more the profile of the league raises up. At the same time, I also understand that we're still in the very early years and we're still building this. And there isn't as much of we want the pie to be huge and everybody get paid a lot, but you gotta make it. You gotta bake it first. So it looks like everyone reported on time. Camp is going to go ahead as planned. And, again, without being disrespectful, the league is going to go forward this year, regardless. I'll just put it at that. People watch this league because it's football when there isn't football on. Not necessarily yet for the individual star players, as much as we know them, love them, appreciate them. I think the general mass audience still is watching this league because it is football when other football is not on. So if there is a dispute and people feel that strongly about it, and again, we always support people getting paid more around here. That's why, we're going to get a few episodes in, get the views real high, and then we're going on strike and make it web, pay us more. No, I'm joking. Everything's going to be all right. Season's going to go forward. I wouldn't fret. It looks like everybody reported on time anyway, so good to go. XFL conference preview. The Brahmas return a lot of their skill guys. Didn't really lose too much when you look at the snap shares of the people that they did lose. And then, everybody's really excited about, and I brought it up last week when we talked about the betting lines, this new quarterback. Could be a supernova for them, Kellen Mond. And plus, like I said, I also like the quarterback room besides Kellen Mond, even if he doesn't work out, even if he is a bust. I love, Kevin Hogan behind him, and I love Jarrett Gontano, his possible ability in this AJ Smith system. Most of the linchpin skill guys are back. John Lovett, John Trey Kirkland, Marquez Stevenson. So I think things are looking good. The linebackers are back. Jordan Williams and the other phenomenal linebacker. And they added a former first-round graded player in Greedy Williams, the cornerback out of LSU, was a top 50 ranked player coming out of his NFL draft class. So, between these guys, I don't really foresee who is touching San Antonio. Between the fact that they didn't lose a heck of a lot, they brought back their skills guys, and they looked like they might have one of the most dynamic players in the league at quarterback. So that's why I got them first with a bullet at the top of the XFL. What are your thoughts, Tay?
I see why you like the Brahmas. I do think the Brahmas are going to be good too. But my number one team, it wouldn't be the Brahmas, not an XFL. You know, I definitely, if you know me, you know who I'm going with the Battlehawks. Like I said last week, offense is completely loaded. They got the reigning offensive player of the year on the team, brand new quarterback who I think is going to excel in the system. It's just a can't lose situation in my opinion. Like I don't see a world where the Battlehawks are bad. Like I think I wouldn't say they dominated XFL last year, but I would say they were the best team in the XFL last year. So yeah, the Battlehawks for me would be on top for sure. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Battlehawks for my number one seed.
So you have no concerns about them breaking in a new quarterback, breaking in a new OC, breaking in two new wide receivers?
No, I don't. I know because I mean I feel like the rest of the court to me, I don't think the coordinator is going to really like the team is too talented. Like I don't even think it's really up to the coaches. Like I think the coaches can only do but so much. So with that being said, the roster, the talent alone speaks for itself to me. Like this is literally just a team just got a new quarterback. I think everything else got better. Not worried about any coaching changes or anything like that. Because like I said, I think it starts and ends with the players. So no, I don't think I have a reason to be concerned. If I didn't like the run game or the receivers, yeah, but I do. I think they have the best, the best offense like in the league. So nah, I really don't have any. It's how could you not succeed with the guys he has? So no, I don't have any concern.
And you know, on the defensive side, they brought back top 3 linebacker in the league, Mike Rose. They brought back the best last year pass rusher in the league, Big Tamu, number 7. You know, I get it. I get it. I'm just got the soft spot for the Brahmas. And Battlehawks seem to be that team every year. That it's so loaded. They got this great home field, and then they underachieve. So we'll see. Though I think Max Duggan is a little bit more of a got a little bit more going on. Well, never mind. I don't want to disrespect nobody. I think Max Duggan is going to be a nice change of pace for some of the situations we saw going on with AJ McCarron last year. True. Between the Battlehawks and the Brahmas, man, what are we thinking?
I'm gonna go Brahmas. I just feel like they're just stronger. Stronger. I mean, take nothing away from the Battlehawks. Battlehawks, very solid team. But because Tay went with the Battlehawks, I'm definitely not going to go with the Battlehawks. So you already knew that was going to be the case. But no, I just think the Brahmas, what we saw from them, they were like a perennial underdog, pretty much from the start of the season last year, and they completely shattered everybody's expectations of what they were going to do. I mean, it definitely shattered Vegas's expectations of what they were going to do. So. Yes, and then I feel like they improved on what they had already. So when you improve on what you have already, I fully expect them to come back and take care of business. I feel strongly about them. Take nothing away from the Battlehawks. I feel like if you had to pick two teams that are gonna, kind of be neck and neck, I'd say those would be two teams that would be like neck and neck this year. But I just feel like the Brahmas, defensively, I trust them a little bit more. That's what is going to tip the scale for me. Because offensively, that's a tough one. But defensively, I think it's going to make the difference.
It's, like I keep saying, Tay trusts the infrastructure. They're loaded with weapons. It's like a college football all-star team. Really it is. Between Mims, Max Duggan, Andy Isabella, they got all the running backs back. Like, there's a lot there to like. I understand. Shakur Pearson, too, coming back. But I got to see it first. I got to see all these things come together and have chemistry and work the way that they want them to truly believe it. So, Tay, what interests me there, and of course, we don't want to bury the lead too much. me and Tay are the new correspondents for the DC Defenders on the DC Defender show right here on United Football Media. And we got a lot of roster breakdowns still yet to go on that show. But you were feeling really good about the Defenders on last week's episode and now. And so am I. Saying they're going to the playoffs. The dangerous thing here is that only 2 teams make it. So you said you liked the Battlehawks up top. Does that mean?
Oh no!
Does that mean you got the Brahmas getting pushed out of the playoffs by the Defenders? Is that what we got here?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it means.
Oh,
yeah, I do. I think it'll be close though. Like, if I had to tell you, like, I would say the Battlehawks are clear 1, and like the Brahmas and Defenders could very well have like the same record. I think it'll be like that, like very close. Like, I guess both teams could be like 5-5. Wouldn't be surprised. Like, that's kind of how I see it. I like the DC Defenders. I like the additions. Like we were talking about on DC Defenders show. We were talking about Deion Jackson. You know, I liked him in college. In the NFL, you know, like I said, he's a utility back, and you can pass it to him, you can hand it off, and I mean, Defenders needed a lot, and they definitely improved. They got Lynn Bowden Jr., like we were saying. He's a football player. He can play any position, receiver, running back.
They had a big influx of talent on the defense too that we're going to talk about on the show this week. New faces on the defense, but they also brought back one of the best pass rushers in the league, Malik Fisher. So, and a couple of their linchpins at corner as well. So, I could see, a scenario possibly where both teams are, 5-5, and then it's a head-to-head, right? Who beats who and when? If they can pull those off, maybe that's the situation. True, what are your thoughts on where the DC Defenders are going to come ranking in this year among the XFL?
Almost the same place they were last season.
Oh boy,
I watched y'all show. I watched the show, obviously.
Well, thank you.
Glad to see my brothers have faith in the DC Defenders that I don't. I think they'll be mildly better than they were last year, which wasn't anything to rave about. I think you mentioned, the defense, and I think that's the area they really needed to fix was their defense, because there were games that they could have been more competitive in. They just made a lot of critical mistakes. And from an offensive perspective, I don't think we got what we were looking for from them last season either. So they're going to be better, but I also think the Brahmas got better. And I think the Battlehawks have kind of stayed the course and maybe a slightly better too. So if you have those 2 teams that are going to be the top 2, I don't trust them to, like, even like a team like, not to jump too ahead, like the Arlington Renegades. Like the Renegades, prime example of a team that had chances to win multiple games, and you just don't execute. What if the Renegades start to execute better and the Defenders end up at the bottom of the pile? Like, that is a very big possibility I could see, because I just don't trust the team. I had trust in them last season, a little bit of trust starting out, and then that it just slowly, by like
painfully,
by week 6 or 7, it was like, what is this? Like, what is that? And so I don't know. I don't feel strongly about them. I think they'll be pretty much where they were last year. I don't see anything significantly improving to put them ahead of people who were better than them last season. And they'll be better as a team, but you still got to beat these other guys that are improving too. So that team was better than you last year and they improved, and you improved. You're still here. They're here. You're still here. So that's how I look at the Defender.
So speaking of a team that we all liked and we love at a plus 1100 for the championship, like we talked about last week, and like you brought up, the Arlington Renegades, we said it a few times and it remains true. A team, that was like 7 plays away from an 8-win season. Like, How many games did they lose at the last second on a crazy play or something? A series of insane things happening at the end of the game. It could be a big turnaround this year. They brought back a ton of what matters and infused a bunch of talent on the defensive side of the ball. Upgrade. Well, we say it's an upgrade. Kalen Ballage has been added as their running back. It's a guy who, it's kind of a fool me want. Like, how many years have we said this? Kalen Ballage, 6'2", 225, 4'4", low 4'4", high 4'3", every physical tool possibly imaginable, should be dominant in this league, and has never really fulfilled that potential in the NFL, has never fulfilled that potential here. But all that said, Kalen Ballage, and it should be an upgrade in the backfield for them. Luis Perez is back. Tyler Vaughns is back. Deontay Burnett is back. Sal Cannella just showed up to camp the other day. Replacing some guys on the offensive line. They added former Defensive Player of the Year Chris Odom on the defense. A guy that Tay knows very well. Brady Breeze, safety out of Oregon, has been added to this team this year as well. So Jabril Cox, a former high draft pick from the New England Patriots. So they added some big time names on the defense. Most of the core guys are back for the offense, the playmakers. Luis Perez, the man, the king of spring. I know a lot of them Stallion fans out there, all 17 of them, are screaming about Alex Magoo, and all of you USFL hardliner goofballs out there are screaming about Alex Magoo. We're going to give that time next week, and we will see when the season comes. But for right now, the king of spring is Luis Perez. The king of spring was putting up numbers in the spring last year, while Alex Magoo was playing wide receiver on the practice squad of the Green Bay Packers. So you can scream and holler all you want about it. We got to see it. And what we saw was Luis Perez doing his thing last year. He's back as well. They're going to have to, they have a lot of replacing to do on the offensive line, but also the offensive line wasn't that great last year. So maybe we're looking at something better this year. This is tough because it's all very conflicting. Because again, there's only two spots. Tay loves the Battlehawks. Tay loves the Defenders. I think me and True really, really like the Brahmas as well. But dang, you look at all of this talent that this Renegades team brings in, and new fresh talent that they're bringing in, along with the fact that the receivers and the quarterback, this is their third year in the system with Bob Stoops. There's a big thing, in the NFL, a third year progression, where the third year leap, where a lot of times guys in a third year in a system, both on the defensive and offensive side, make a big statistical leap because it's when it really clicks. So a third year, the chemistry with those receivers, I feel like this is our version of no, the Showboats are really going to be good this year, right? Because we were trying to talk people into the Renegades last year, and now here I am again giving you all these reasons why you should take the Renegades more seriously.
Wait, the Renegades showed promise. What did the Showboat show? They showed nothing. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. It's going to be forever wishing on the Showboat's downfall, forever. And I just need people to understand that. But also, once again, the Showboats were not. What did you say? 7-8 plays away from.
They were not. No,
having a winning record. They were not. So it's different. And the Renegades improved on what they had last year. This is not the same thing as the Showboats. We should never make. The Showboats are here, the bottom of the barrel, and I want them to hear me say this loud. That's loud, and I want them to prove me wrong. But we'll talk about that next week. That's next week. We can talk about that next week.
So Tay, how are we feeling, man? You're got a lot of respect for Luis Perez. You were really into it last year. Infusion of a lot of talent, both at running back and on the defense. Continuity with the receivers and the quarterback. What am I missing here, bro? What am I missing?
I don't know. It seems just too similar to last year for me.
Yeah.
Like I want to stay away. Like I know I probably said I did like them, but just me looking at everything, like I don't think so. I'm gonna stay away. I would stay away this year. So, well, I mean, I gave my 1 and 2, so I actually had the Renegades 4. I'm gonna stay away. Like they were 3 and 7 last year, maybe 4 and 8, but I'm gonna stay away. I just don't see it. Like the team, they got a little bit better. Like I love South last year, but it just seems too similar to last year.
It's
Like,
tough because right, they've got better, but like everybody got better, right?
right.
Like
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
the Brahmas got the new dynamic, quarterback room, got so many defensive pieces back. The Battlehawks loaded quarterback room, because even if Max doesn't work out, Manny Wilkins is still there, and he was in that offense last year.
Right.
And then they got the Battlehawks obviously are just stacked at the skill positions again, with all new players. And then we talked about quite a bit on our show. The DC Defenders have also brought in 3 or 4 new playmakers that could really provide a spark to the offense. So while we really like the Renegades and respect the players on the team and like what they brought in, everybody else got better too. So it's tough. True. What do you think, man?
Nothing would make me happier than the Renegades finishing with a better record than the Defenders. I would love to see that because, for one, it would allow me to point out to Tay that the Defenders were not better than the Renegades and they were at the bottom. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't believe in that, because everything that's been said is true. It's the Renegades are improved. They're plus 1100 for a reason, though, because that's a tough battle. You're surrounded by 2 extremely good teams, and then another team with potential to be extremely good. They just have to execute. And you also yourself as a team were this close to being really, really good. Also, you were just a couple critical mistakes away from being, one of the best teams in the league. So it's too dependent on, can you close? Can you finish? And we've seen the Brahmas close and finish. We've seen the Battlehawks close and finish. We haven't really seen the Defenders showcase that yet, but improving on what you already have helps you to do that. And I feel like, as much as I want to see the Renegades do well, I don't think they have a bad season, but I think they'll have like the most middle of the road season possible. So I think they'll be last, but I mean, what can you do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got juggernauts basically in your
The XFL conference is so stacked. So yeah, I could see them being last, but being 4 and 6. You know what I'm saying? And then 5 and 5, possibly tied for the 2 teams above them, and then it goes down to tiebreaker, and then up at the top you got the Battlehawks probably with 7 wins or something like that. I could see it playing out like that. Bit of a bloodbath over here on this side for the XFL. It's a bloodbath in the spring football coverage with all the different media clubs, because this one right here, the United Football Media, is number 1. Please check out throughout the week. Webb and Brandon busting out the captain's log, the Showboats show. You might be the worst team, but they probably got the best pod supporting them. So, it's a caretaker situation. Check them out. Our man Ace, uber talented creator, just came back last week. Got the Roughnecks rundown rolling again. He discusses their quarterback room, which is very, very interesting, and I'm very excited to talk about it next week. A guy in that quarterback room, a dynamic playmaker in that quarterback room that Tay knows very well from his favorite college football team. So I'm excited to discuss that next week on the USFL conference breakdown. But check out Roughnecks rundown right now with Ace. He has a breakdown of that quarterback room. Our man Jay, our brother from another mother in the DC Defender realm of media, he is out there doing his DC Defender defending football shorts Very informative, great content. He does a great job at his thing, and we hope to get him on the DC Defender Show at some point in the near future. And of course, far from least, our guys down there in the cow pasture, the Brahma bullpen, Josh and producer, crushing it. They've been putting out content after content after content. A powerhouse pod for a powerhouse squad. The Brahma bullpen, please check them out. I believe our man FBI Tugboat is also going to have the Michigan Panthers Panther Pod rolling again this week. So looking forward to that. The Mighty Plums are back to dominate for another season. Excited to hear his roster breakdowns. And sometime soon, our man Noah going to be bringing back that Battlehawk podcast, the Cawcast, and Buck and Scout will be back from the Sun Belt, causing trouble down there to bring you Stallions Run, the Birmingham Stallions podcast. All 31 Birmingham Stallions fans listen to the show 3 times over, so they always get like really good numbers, because the number of the people is very, very small because nobody goes to Birmingham Stallions game, but their viewership is very fine because it's a damn fine show for a damn fine team. Myself and Tay will be with you again next week for the DC Defender Show. We are breaking down the new faces on defense. The episode we put up earlier this week is the new faces on offense. Everything you need to know about all of the offensive additions that the DC Defenders made. Stuff you need to know because the offense was a little ugly last year. So we go over that this upcoming week. New faces on the defense. The DC Defender Show with me and Tay, 2 local guys to the DC area supporting our local team. A show for the people, by the people, as this one is. So if there's any topic you guys want us to cover, please put it down in the comments. We will check it out. We will get to you. We look at them all and we appreciate the engagement. This right here has been United Football Media's Tell Me About It.